our viewers out there. My name is Heinrich Neetling and welcome to Mathematical Literacy. In today's lesson, we'll be focusing on street maps, suburban maps, provincial maps, as well as national maps. Now, before I start with our lesson, let me quickly share something interesting with you. Did you know that Google Maps is one of the most popular map applications in the world? There are many features of Google Maps that make it unique and helpful for the users. These features include 360 street view, directions, location searching, real-time traffic, and route planning for walking, biking, driving, or public transportation. Now that's quite interesting, right? Now, what are our lesson objectives? Let us quickly look at our lesson objectives. So by the end of this lesson, you should be able to, first of all, identify, define, as well as interpret street maps, suburban maps, provincial maps, as well as national maps. Also important is for you to be able to determine general direction as well as grid reference. Okay? You must be able to identify key symbols indicated on the given map. We also want you to be able to find location, follow directions, and to develop directions for traveling between two or more locations. Important as well, you must be able to calculate distance or speed or time, right, depending on what the question is expecting you to do. Then determine map distance and actual distance, right? That means in real life, as well as a scale of a given map, right? You must be able to substitute into a formula correctly. And coupled with this is for you to be able to manipulate or to change the subject of the formula. All right, so that is what we expect of you from today's lesson. Now, as I've indicated, this will be the focus of today's lesson. Street maps, suburban maps, provincial maps, as well as national maps. Now, let us quickly look at some language that is important for this specific lesson. Okay, I've indicated here that a map is a two-dimensional representation of an area of the Earth's surface. For example, a provincial map. All right? Also important is we will look at relative position. So what is it? A position relative to the surrounding landmarks, right? Here we make use of keywords such as left, right, up, down, north, behind, etc. Okay? For example, the shopping center is in front of the hospital. Okay? Then grid reference, right? Grid reference also very important. This is labeling of an area using a grid with rows and columns, each labeled alphabetically and or numerically, right? So that is your grid reference. Now, why is this so important? Grid reference, right? The grid make finding places faster as well as easier. Okay, for example, if you look grid reference number will be B7, for example. Okay, we look at it as we move on with our lesson. Also important for you to know is your compass direction, right? We know the four major compass directions, right? Or we also refer to it as the cardinal points. For example, south, west, east, etc. Okay, so that are the important terminology in today's lesson. Now let us quickly do a quick, short, right, practice, and I want you to work with me here. So the first question, it says choose the correct answer. Now let's see what is our question about. It says here, provincial maps are always or never drawn to scale. Now remember, provincial maps are always, right? So that's our answer here. It is always drawn to scale. Question number 2, it says identify the type of map shown below. Now let's see what map it is. All right, so looking at this, we can see all our provinces are there. So in this case, and I'll write it down for you, this is a national map, right? That's a national map. Let us look at our next question. Now at question number 3, we would like to know whether the following statement is true or false. Let's see what we are saying here. Grid reference is the labeling of an area using a grid with rows and columns, each labeled alphabetically or numerically. Now, if you've listened to me carefully, I've indicated that that's exactly what grid reference is all about. So in this case, our answer will be true, right? So it is true. Okay, right? Then one last question here. Define the term street map. Right, so a street map shows, right, in depth, right, okay, views of a city, okay, and that can include the following. That will normally include your streets, it can include your scale, and sometimes it will also include grid reference, right? Let me write it proper. So it can also include grid reference, right? It shows in-depth views of a city with normally the streets of the city, the scale of the map, as well as grid reference, depending on the map. Are we clear? Now, I would like us to look at more important language, right? So here I've indicated a street map, right? It gives an in-depth view, as I've just explained, right, of a city, showing your streets, the scale of the map, and sometimes also grid reference. Very important to note, it's always drawn to scale. Right, so that's the definition of a street map. Then a suburban map shows an aerial picture of either industrial or residential areas, right? And it sometimes also show attractions. Then what else is important? Provincial map. So a provincial map indicates roads and towns that are found within a province. Okay? Always drawn to a specified scale. And then lastly, we'll look at national maps. So here I've indicated they connect major cities, a class of major roads and freeways. And again, it's always drawn to a specified scale. All right, I hope all of that makes sense to you. Guys, let us take a quick advert break. After the break, we'll put all of this into context. See you now.